Welcome to Harper Tech Academy. Today in Harper Recipe Creations we are doing a beautiful prosciutto and goat's cheese sandwich. Now yesterday I actually baked up a beautiful rosemary and olive focaccia, so I would recommend that you actually do that. Leave it a day for the bread for this, but if you haven't got the time, you could get a whole range of different ethnic breads that you could use for this. And down below you'll find in the comment section there's actually a link to that other video with the recipe. And as always, the recipe card there for the Harper Recipe Creations is down there for you to follow along. So let's have a look at what we're going to do. So we already have our focaccia that's made up. We've got some beautiful prosciutto, so this very much is an Italian style. We've got a capsicum, goat's cheese. You could use Meredith Ash goat's cheese, and I've left this out for about half an hour so it's quite soft, and a bit of oregano. Now the first part here is to actually get a bowl. Now if I've done more than just the quarter that's actually in the recipe of the red capsicum. Now at the time of recording we couldn't actually get yellow capsicum, but the yellow and the red capsicum actually have a nice little interplay of different flavors. So what you're going to do is put that into the bowl, a little bit of olive oil, rub it on, put it on a tray, put it in the oven until it blisters, all right, until it's quite soft. So if you have a look here, what I've done once it's come out of the oven, I've actually put a bit of Glad wrap and plastic wrap over the top, and what that does is it actually helps steam it out, cool it down, but the skin literally is just going to fall off for us if we're lucky today. So I'm going to take that plastic off and just drain that off. So this is going to be an integral part of our sandwich, and the roasting process also gives us a lovely smoky flavor to our dish, which is what we're after. So on the tray here, I'm literally going to start to peel off it off. Now, if this is hot, you can actually run it under the tap, but generally it's nice if you don't cool it off, because you're actually going to lose some of that flavor. So what I'm doing here is actually peeling that skin, and it just comes off. So it looks like I've burnt it when I first showed you, but in fact I haven't. So we'll take those seeds out, make sure all the skin's out. And this really makes for a very lovely flavor, but also means it doesn't get caught. So what I'm going to do here is just run it under the tap very quickly, and all I'm doing is just getting rid of any excess seeds, which is important. We don't want to put any seed into it. So I'm just going to get some paper towel, tamp it off. I'm going to also reserve those seeds, and we're just going to tamp that off. Now if you wanted to make this in advance, you had a lot of extra capsicums, you can actually do that by putting them in a jar and putting some lovely olive oil or maybe a bit of garlic in there, and you'll get an even more unique flavor. Okay, so what we're going to do is just cut this into strips. And what I really love here too is you can actually use this and blend it up and make a lovely sauce too. So these offcuts in the kitchen, we would not be throwing these away, we'd actually be utilizing that. I might blend that up later for a lovely sauce. All right, so at this point, we're just going to cut them into 1/2 centimeter strips that we're going to use to actually garnish and flavor our prosciutto and goat's cheese sandwich. So that goes in there, and as always with our mise en place for sandwiches, we need to make sure that it's all organized. So we're doing all of the preparation first, and then we're making the sandwich. Always super important. All right, next we actually have our goat's cheese, and as previously mentioned, it's been out. So we're actually going to make a spread out of the goat's cheese is what we're doing in essence. So I'm going to open it up. Get a spoon, and because it's quite soft in the fridge, it's not, it's going to take some of that goat's cheese out. That's going to add a really lovely creaminess and acidity to this dish, because believe it or not, our roasted capsicum there is actually quite sweet, and we want to get a counterplay with something else that's sharp. All right. We've got some fresh oregano. Just have a look at the oregano there. Oh, so good. Really beautiful. Taste of the Mediterranean, this dish. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the leaves off this. You don't want the stalk in this. It's a little bit too hard, and it will end up getting caught. All right, so we're literally just going to chop it quite finely, just bunch it up, cut it into a chiffonade, sort of fine. You don't want to chop it down too much. And this being a soft herb, if you chop it down, the analogy I can give you is if you've mowed a lawn and you've got your mulch heap there, imagine that your herb is going to start to bruise and you're losing a lot of flavour and that beautiful vibrant colour that you get from soft herbs like basil or parsley. Right, so at this point, just going to mix that together. Now add just a touch of salt and pepper. All right, not too much because it's actually quite flavoursome, this cheese, so we don't want to make it over salty or over seasoned. Alright, so mix that. So there's our goat's cheese mix. Alright, now we'll open up our prosciutto. We're going to actually start to put this together. So you can get your prosciutto from wherever you would like. Now, I want to show you this bread. You'll see here, see how light and fluffy that is? I'll show you up here. Light and fluffy, that's what you want, and that comes from proving and knocking back. Now, the way I've made this, you'll see it's actually not very high. So if I'd done double the mix, it would have been double high. So we're going to make little fingers of our sandwich today, as opposed to sort of a bigger sandwich. I'll just take off two pieces here and reserve that off to the side. Okay, so it's quite delicate, so we don't want to be throwing it around too much, or it's just going to fall apart. Okay. Now we'll just get a normal butter knife, and I'm going to get a goat's cheese mix. It's going to help bind the whole thing together. So you'll notice it spreads really well, and that's because it's nice and warm. Right, you don't want to leave it out all day, it is still dairy. Okay, so this makes it very lush and luxuriant. And in the recipe it actually calls for watercress. When I went to the shop, we didn't actually have any watercress, and we've got it growing in the garden, but it hasn't grown very much yet. So that's the one ingredient. You could put bean shoots, or change this up to what you want. But you're in for an absolutely lovely sandwich, really decadent. And this could be like a high tea. You could do like mini ones of these. So I want to spread that out like that. Right, next step is you're going to get my prosciutto. And we're just going to lay that over. Now if you had a bigger sandwich you could just lay it flat, but I'm just going to lay that absolute goodness on there. What we're going to do, this is more of an open style sandwich, alright, so we're not doing our traditional two pieces of bread together. We're just going to do red capsicum on top for garnish, and that shape too. Remember, it's when we garnish it is very important to have a lovely shape, but at the same time you want a flavour that's really going to work. Okay, so that is very important. So I actually have some lettuce. We've just got like a mixed lettuce. It's not actually on the recipe, but I'm going to use a little bit of this lettuce. It's been washed already in different types. We've got a butter lettuce here and an oak leaf. Doesn't have to be. There we go. Give you a prosciutto and goat's cheese sandwich on our beautiful olive and rosemary focaccia. How could you say no to that? If you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Remember the recipes down there. Let me know how you go with this recipe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see more videos from the Harper Tech Academy, make sure you subscribe on the video, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.